That is what you call resin art. I don't know what it's going to look like magnified with that lens over the front. We are about to find out. Let's give it, I think I ruined it. Right, we are back with an absolute banging resin art video. I'm really smiling for this one. You would have seen, most of you would have seen the post on my community tab asking if you wanted this one. Many of you saw the previous video with the clouds, absolutely stunning pieces we made in that. There was a comment asking about sea, maybe adding a sea or an ocean. And I tried it, and that's the post you saw in the community tab. It's absolutely mind-blowing. The depth in this piece is absolutely incredible. But what I'm going to try this time, another viewer suggested this, is what about if we had a landscape piece? So we are going to try that. If you're not fond of the landscape piece, just turn your mold background and do it another way. And some of this is going to be very similar to that previous video, but if you've already seen it, please help me out, help the channel out, watch the video through the entire process just to help the algorithms. So we are using the Resin Rockers Clear Hard Type, and we are also again using the Resin Rockers Genre Series Liquid Dyes. Now you are going to have to bear with me on this one because some of it I'm going to be making up as I go along. I want to make some tweaks to that image that you saw in the community tab post, and hopefully it works. So this will be a blue, so we're using a little bit more of the blue. I'll show you why. And I'm going to try and go with a kind of a sunset vibe with the sky. I'm not 100% sure whether I'm going to use all these colors though, but I want to go with a red into an orange, potentially also a yellow. I don't know yet. This could go anywhere. So this is the blues. So we're going to add 2 drops for now, just to see how that goes. We want some red. Again, I don't know whether I'm going to use all the colors. We shall see. Where's the orange? I want more of the orange than I do the yellow. So I'm just using 2 drops of each. And then thoroughly mix those in. So what I'm going to begin with is just getting some form of barrier. You'll understand what I mean as we go through. So I'm going to use my yellow. And I'm just going to draw in like a line and cure it as I go. This will possibly be part of the horizon, depending on how this goes. I might be brave and try and put some form of landscape at the back. I don't know yet. But this will just help when we add the ocean blue. It will just help it stay in the bottom half where we want it, hopefully. So I'm just going to continue all the way up the sides and cure as I go. So you can see I've widened it a bit, and now I'm just going to make an area where the sun's going down with my yellow. And hopefully if I do add some form of like an island or something, it will also hopefully be highlighted a bit more using that yellow. Okay, so the trick with the depth and the ocean is that basically we are going to tilt our mold and we are going to bring the blue like a platform from the edge to the yellow. So it's going to give us depth. We want that to meet the whole way across. So I'm just going to slowly begin to add the blue. Sorry, my focus, bear with me, I will lock it. Slowly add the blue below the yellow, and then take my stick and just spread it across. and then just keep adding. I don't want to go above that yellow. I'm hoping this way works. It is working. I may need to flash cure with my torch and then continue because it's not really going up the sides as well as I wanted it to. It was much easier in the portrait mode when I tried it. Just going to bring it all the way to the edge. And then if I need to add some more after a flash cure with my torch, I can. Doesn't matter if there's tiny little bubbles because we can hide those in one of the following steps. And just give that a flash cure. Now I'm just going to add some more until it's flat enough for me to be happy with it. Trying again not to go over that yellow because it will turn green. And again, I'm just going to cure that with my torch. Okay, I added another layer, so it's had 3, and I went over the yellow and it spilled out the mold. But I'm hoping I can still make this good. So what I'm going to have to do now is just bring that yellow up a little bit higher. So any green area, I'm hoping now, could just become landmass. You never know. I'm just winging it. And you'll see some of the yellows got underneath that first layer and created like a ridge, but that's fine because we're going to need to sand it down anyway. It's not a problem. So now I'm going to go in with some orange and red above the yellow and just bring out that fiery sky. You can chop and change between the 2 colors if you want. Blend them together. Again, I'm just winging this for the video. Let's see that nice wave of red there. I want to keep that there, so I'm going to cure it. And keep going. I'm just going to build up that sky with the orange and red. Now I'm getting towards the top, so I'm going back with some yellow. And then I may just finish off a small area with blue. That's where we're up to now. You can see there's a bubble in the water there. That's fine. Don't worry about that because we're going to hide that. I don't think I'm going to add any landmass in there because it does look like there is some there where that blue has gone over the yellow and made this greenish area. I might try and add something just in case. No, we'll keep it as it is. Now we are going to make some of the paste that we made in the previous video, but I'm not going to be using mine for clouds this time. I've already got some clouds pre-made, but it's the same, doing it the same way. So a small amount of UV resin, and we're going to add some titanium dioxide and mix that in until it's fluffy, because we're going to be using this for our waves. And there we have it. I've added enough so that this is how we make the clouds. If you haven't seen that previous video, go and watch it. I'll show how I do that. So on with the ocean. I'm going to just draw them on with my stick. Now you want the bigger waves at the front, so kind of around here. See that we've got that bubble there, so the first job is to just hide that. So I'm going to add the larger waves towards the front, and I'm just drawing it on with my stick. It's that simple. And as I'm scratching the surface, it's also giving like a reflection effect. And then as I work my way towards the back, I just go in smaller, just barely touch it. If you do get some that look a bit too big, then again just scratch the area with a clean end, just to make them a bit smaller. That's all I'm doing, all over that water. Then just to kind of blend everything down a bit so it's not so prominent, I'm just really going over like this to create some ultra fine waves. Like ripples. And then again making those bigger at the front. Like so. And if you think you've added a bit too much, I think I have, just wrap a bit of tissue around your stick. I think I went a bit too heavy towards the back area. I think that would do. And then using the flashlight, just give it a blast. It's all going to be fully cured under the big lamp when we move on. As always, massive shout out to my channel members, anyone who's bought me a coffee or a super thanks, and to all my subscribers. I don't know whether to add landmass now because I'm just worried that it's not gonna look right. Right, I'm gonna see what this cut looks like as I mix it. So this is metal. I've taken out a small amount of that paste. I just want to see what kind of colour that comes out like. This could work. A little bit more. Hope you're still with me. Sorry, I did say I was going to be making most of this up as I go along. I'll kind of get like a dark colour. Should have just added one big drop to begin with. Whoa, okay. Yep, that could work. I don't know how it's going to cure though. We'll see. Again, just using my stick, I'm going to just go over. See, the trouble is there's that blue area there. I could completely ruin this now. I don't know, I don't think that's dark enough. It looks like snow. Oh, what am I doing? The line's not. I need to come down here. Break these two colours apart, that's the issue. It's not completely straight. Oh well, you get the idea anyway. Now I need to bring the waves down. A little bit more. I suppose I could go with some mountain ranges. I don't know guys. I really don't know. I'm just gonna keep going and just hopefully I can make something nice. I think that needed to be darker. Right, I'm gonna cure that and then I'm gonna try and put a black line right below that mountain range. And hopefully that will separate the two, because it just looks like they're coming out of the water. And I'm going to do that with a little bit of black acrylic paint. Just follow that down. It's a lot of work, guys, isn't it? It's a lot of work and patience, but it's going to be worth it, I hope, if I can salvage this now. Could add some details into the mountains as well with this, but I'm really scared. Nervous chuckle. Okay, I'm going to continue. Just adding that black detailing. Now that, that's looking pretty good. I must say so myself. Normally when I do stuff, I've explained this on my channel before. Normally when I do stuff like this and I can see it, I'm really not happy with it. I prefer making things that I can't really see the results until I kind of flip it. My brain just doesn't allow me to like it, but I really do like that. I think there's a couple of areas that I need to just patch in. You see there, it's yellow below the mountain and over here, so I just need to fix that. I don't know whether I could go over that with some blue UV resin and cure that. I don't know whether that's going to hide it. Yes, it is. Quite lucky. Right, so now comes the stages where we start layering and adding our clouds. Now, I don't know whether to do it the same way that I did in the previous video, by adding the cured clouds into the resin. I think what I'm going to be doing this time, I'm going to try and be a little bit more delicate with it, and using the stuff that I've already got made up, I'm going to use that to paint on the clouds onto my layers. So to begin with, I think I'm going to add some, I was going to pour some UV resin in them, but I think I'm going to add some tiny little clouds just above the mountains. Like, I mean tiny, I think that was even too big. I'm just going to begin to just paint some small ones into the sky. And remember, this is going to be magnified. I'm hoping this works, because, well, we've added quite a bit of detail to this piece already. It would be such a shame to lose it all. Okay, I've cured those clouds in. Now I'm going to begin layering. Just adding a layer, curing it. I think I am going to add some of the bigger clouds in, just as we work our way, same way as before, work our way to the front. So same as before, after that initial layer is cured, a thin layer, then apply your clouds. Cure and repeat. So I'm coming up to the last layer of clouds, and because I want this in a landscape orientation, I need to think about how I'm going to fix them in, and I don't want these to be visible, so I'm going to need two larger clouds each side to kind of cover these areas so you don't see them. Right, so I just need my final layer on this one, and I need to fill up the lens. Then we can marry the two pieces together. Again, like I said in the previous video, you don't have to create the lens. You can just dome this one up to finish it off. It's entirely up to you. What I've also done is where the resin has shrunk again, is when I topped it up, I put too much in on purpose to sweep it over the sides to infill any of the gaps. But just make sure, just be aware that you are going to get some rather large bubbles coming up the sides. But it just saves on work afterwards. Okay, I'm super chuffed. These are going to come out joined together. I'm super chuffed. That's like a little hinge. I'm super chuffed at how that's turned out. That is what you call resin art. That's crazy. But now I need to make the decision, because thinking about it, I don't know what it's going to look like magnified with that lens over the front. We could get an idea. It's not going to give us... Okay, that's given us a lot of depth. I think I'm going to go ahead. But just to show you what it could look like, you could just take off that edge, all those edges, give it a nice sand down, and then just dome that so that it's not so chunky. Because a couple of people said that, you know, the last video, it looked a bit too bulky, which is understandable. You see that water is quite translucent, but in different lights. And you could also add a black background to bring that. I prefer it like this though. It looks a lot more natural, like a really nice icy water. Right, I'm going to clean up the edges, get these detached, and we're going to bond, marry the two pieces together. Okay, this is where it could all go horribly wrong. I'm going to add too much just to prevent any trapped bubbles, because if you look around the top, you can see that zigzaggy ridge. It's where the resin shrunk inside the mold and I went over the side, so that could be an issue with any bubbles. Hopefully not. We are about to find out. Where's my flashlight? Because if it goes sliding everywhere like it did last time, I can use... No, bubble already, see that? We don't want that. Let's get rid of that. Let's try that again. I can still see something. What's that? Right, let's try again. Third time lucky. Yes. Right, okay, get that as lined up as I can before I go curing that in place. I think that will do. Just cure it at the side with my flashlight so it's not going to move around, and then cure it under the beast. Okay, same as before, I'm going to go outside, Dremel most of this off, and then I'm going to finish it off by hand sanding the whole piece before we dip it. Right, so I've sanded it and I've added my stick to hold the piece as I'm dipping it, and that is in one of the locations of the drill points, so I can sort that afterwards. So I can dip that, rotate it under my lamp as I did in the previous video. I'm now just doubting myself as to whether I should have kept it as it was and just domed it. Let's dip it. I think I've ruined it. Right, again, let the excess drip off until it kind of doesn't want to drip anymore, and just keep rotating it afterwards under your lamp. Okay, you can see there's some gaps in the mountains where we've now blown that up with the lens. I mean, I'm really happy with the clouds. I'm happy with it. I do wish I'd kept it as it was and just finished it as it was. But I'm now wondering whether I should add a white background to this. Because look at that. I don't know. I mean, a black background's just really darkening it up. I think I'm going to go and check it out in different light first, but I don't like those gaps in the mountains. What I'm going to do, you know guys, I can only get quicker and better the more I try. I'm going to go behind on the back of the piece with some white acrylic paint, and then I'm going to have to dip it again just to try and hide those gaps. I hope. I'm not sure if I like it, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. But as always, give the video a thumbs up, drop me a comment. If you haven't subbed, it is free. Hit that button for me. So this is the one that you saw on the community tab page. And that was just the same thing, but obviously angling the blue in a portrait mode instead. And what I did with that one before I did 2 dips. I dusted the back with some gold. Just shows through. But I really wish I'd kept this one as it was, I think. I'm not too keen on these attachments either. If I'm honest, you'd have to attach a chain to each side. I mean, it's not horrific, is it? Looking at it now, it does actually look really, really nice. When you tilt it, it looks like the mountains are reflecting on the water. I mean, I don't hate it. I love the way that these are hidden though, with these 2 clouds here. I just don't know whether I should have just done the whole back with a white, because that really does glow up the sky, but I just don't know. Should we go and see it in different light and see if it looks any different? I think I could have done with some bigger waves as well. I don't know. Now you can see a bubble just in the middle. Still some gaps in the mountain. But I am actually really happy with that. Especially with that water. It looks like there's some floating ice drifting towards the front there. There are some bubbles, but again, it's not that bad. Those clouds really do. The way the light hits them really do look real. Yeah, as I was just walking back to my desk, look at the way the light hits the surface of the water. That's a big light above my head. It's like it actually reflects off the surface. So it's one of those kind of pieces that's going to look different in different lights and at different angles. It's really quite magical. And I think with a white background, it becomes a bit more solid. If you notice that, compared to before, where it looks more realistic. Yeah, I'm not overly disappointed. If I do it again, I would potentially leave off the lens and just add that final, just small doming to really finish it off. But there you go. That's without any kind of blockage. See how dark that turns with a black. But there you go. I will see you for the next one. Bye for now.